Hi, and welcome to this edition of Great Minds Print Alike, where I get the opportunity to speak to great minds in our industry and our business, and John Bailey, about all things marketing. So, John, welcome to our new set.
Thank you. Very snazzy.
Isn't it? Is it
Love
pink
it.
enough for you?
Beautiful. Love it.
You were particularly keen to tell me not to make it too pink, but I got that a little bit wrong.
I gave up trying to
I didn't get the memo.
trying to get that across a long time ago, Age.
So we've decided to relaunch our Great Minds Print Alike
We have.
podcast. But I kind of want to go back to basics today and talk about why we're doing it.
Okay.
So from my perspective, one of the reasons we're doing it is we need to create content for the business, for marketing. Why are we doing it from your perspective?
Well, look, I'm kind of being won over that we need to generate content as well, right? So you're dragging me kicking and screaming into studios. Thank you. So I get it. But for me, if you're not out showing what you do and you're not discussing the bigger picture stuff, you're really not taking the business to where it needs to get to, because I think people want to buy from businesses that stand for the right things. I think they want to buy from businesses that actually do what they say they do, not just tick a box or write it on a piece of marketing. It's actually part of the DNA. So I think this sort of thing is great for getting that across. And I also think if you don't share good stuff, your brain's full of everything that you've already got in it. And I believe, always have done, you empty your brain, you empty your bucket. Everyone else is busy then copying what you've told them to do while you can fill it back up with new stuff. And I've always done that.
And I guess in this day and age, if you want to put it like that, it's really easy to write written content, or it's easier than it's ever been to write written content. You know, we use AI to support us with writing written content. But one of the things that I'm really keen on is being really authentic. So I wanted people to get to know us as individuals as well and understand who we are and what we're about, because fundamentally that's what the culture of the business is about,
People have always bought from people, and then it's changed over the years. And obviously COVID had a huge role to play in that. And I'm not sure we've really got back to that whole human touch, face-to-face thing, really. It's getting much better. But businesses have still done a lot more remote. We even talk about our Christmas parties. You used to be able to get 200 people to come to a Christmas party. Now it's very hard to get people to be able to spend the time and come out and socialize and be with the people. Right? So it's all very worky. So I agree with you. I think this sort of stuff really allows you to break those barriers and for people.
And they can see how hilariously funny we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obvious from the start.
I guess go back to that piece about knowledge sharing, because I want to explore that a little bit. You've always taught me that it's really important not to keep information to myself, not only internally within the business to share, to share my knowledge, to share my expertise, but also outside with our suppliers, with our customers, with other partners. And I know that's really core to what you are, you as a person and you as a leader in our business.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I've always tried to get you to do that as well, because I think that's really key, right? And I think a lot of people are very protective about what they do. I learned very early that actually if you want to lead the way and you want to lead the path and you want to be pioneering and trailblazing, you can't do it on your own for starters, because you can't know everything. So you've got to be open to taking on new ideas. And if you're full of your own self-importance or your own what you're trying to achieve, you haven't got the space to do it. So people are always scared to share what they're doing. I don't think anyone can copy you if it's authentically you, right? They can try, they can replicate, they can make a logo the same, they can try and make you look the same, they can offer the same kit, they can do the same products, they can talk the same language in theory, but they're not going to ever copy you.
And they're never going to feel it.
No.
If it's authentically they're never going to feel it.
So it will never be what you've achieved. And while they're busy trying to copy what you've done, you're on to the next thing. So you can always stay ahead. So which is why you should focus on what you're doing, not what the competitors are doing, but then share what you're doing with them to let them catch up. I've always believed it. I have. For years, everyone's always said, why spend so much time in the D-Skip community? Why spend so much time presenting for Hewlett-Packard? Why do the advisory council? That's why, because everyone sits there and sees it and goes, wow, we want to replicate what these guys are doing. They all go off and do it, and we're off in a different direction, right? So you should do it.
So just exploring that D-Scoop piece a little bit, just explain for the purposes of our audience what D-Scoop's all about.
So the Digital Solutions Cooperative is 20 years old. It's celebrating its 20-year-old anniversary this year. I have not been in it for 20 years, but 15 or so. And it's
I know you wanted me to say you don't look old enough then.
I did
Sorry, I
actually.
missed that cue.
I did want you to do that. We can cut and redo it if you want, but we can. And it's all about creating a community of the print of HP Indigo print users. So 22,000 members worldwide, set up a global print network, all sharing information and knowledge and education. But that community feel, and it's taken a long time for people to break their barriers down, understand it. But now it's such a vibrant community, and it just shows the power of this community where you have partners, OEMs, suppliers, you have manufacturers, you have PSPs, and it just enables you to drive the industry, and it revolutionizes industries.
And you talked a lot there about us sharing information and us being willing to share information. I know from having joined the D-Scoop community recently, so much about it is also us learning as an organisation as well. And I know in the roles that you've played, I guess, for the last few years in D-Scoop, it's felt like you've done a lot of sharing, but I guess you've done a lot of learning as well.
Yeah, of course. You always have to be open to learn new stuff. Otherwise, you just stand still, don't you? I'm interested actually, what you said about how I've always tried to push it. Do you think we do enough of that? Because I often think that maybe I do it a lot.
Yep.
I think we need more people to do that.
I agree 100%. One of the reasons that I'm trying to do this, one of the reasons that hopefully you've noticed I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn at the moment is because I feel like as a leadership team within our organization, we do need to do more of it. We can't rely solely on you as our CEO to drive those conversations, to learn on our behalf. We need to learn ourselves, and we need to share our expertise more.
Yeah, I think we're getting much better. I think we're doing a great job. We beat ourselves up that we're not doing enough. And
I always beat us up.
I know, and we always say about we work really hard to make it look this casual, right? And that's a fact.
Yeah.
I think when you integrate with our business, you come in and you feel part of it, and it's a great place to want to be, a great place to want to work with, a great supplier. But we work really hard to make that, and I think that's part of it as well. Is people need to have the confidence to go out and share what they think, because people know what they're talking about.
I think the
and they're really
fear
good.
bit, certainly the fear for me, the fear bit is always, and I put something on LinkedIn about this only yesterday. There's a fear that you have to know everything when you're in a leadership position.
You should actually, it's the opposite. You should be happy to know nothing and trust that the cavalry will arrive. It's just about being present. If you were to want to go into every conversation that I have to go into thinking that you know everything, I'd be in loads of trouble, right? Because I don't know anywhere near as much as most of the amazing people that work with us. So if that's a fear, that's a challenge. You actually have to have the confidence to go in and say, I don't know. And because I don't know, teach me and tell me what it is. And I think it's more important to do that.
Okay, so just kind of to circle back a little bit in terms of this sharing piece and doing things like this podcast and sharing more information on LinkedIn and thought leadership. What do you think our customers get out of that? Is there a benefit to our customers or what we're doing?
We can go on LinkedIn and talk about press speeds, and we can talk
Yep.
about what we can do. Of course, that's important because we want to educate the market actually what we do. But I think companies and people and our customers are looking to work, as I touched on briefly, look for businesses that stand for the right things.
Right.
Look for businesses that are developing and innovating and are going to be there for them in the next 5 years, that are talking to them about things that they don't even know they need to know about yet. Right. And that's what I feel like my job is, which is why I talk a lot about mental health, equality, academia, student, next gen, because that's what I'm passionate about. But B, I think is going to play even bigger role in all businesses, but specifically in our industry moving forward, especially with AI. And we're not going to get into AI on this one particularly, but that is meaning that this piece about having the personality, the behavior, the culture, the people is going to be even more important. When everyone's on a level playing field in 1,000 days, the only thing that's going to stand out is people with pink hair.
And similarly, I think our customers want to talk to people who get them.
Yeah, of course.
And I think I hope by doing this kind of podcast, by sharing this kind of information, and also one of the things I want to get out of this podcast is me being vulnerable as a marketer, asking questions that maybe our customers are wanting to ask but don't necessarily feel they can ask. I want to be able to ask those things on their behalf to get to know us, but get to know our other guests that we're going to have in the coming months, get to know them a little bit better, to, I don't know, unpick some of those really, really challenging conversations.
I think it's great, and I think that if we can do that and we can open it up, and you kindly said I was your co-host, which I'll take, right? I'll happily take that. I'm not sure it's true, but I'll happily take it.
Or
But
equals
if
in
we
this room,
if
Jon.
we can, we're always equals, mate. If we can uncover some of the gems from some of the amazing people we work with, and we work with some amazing people,
We
right?
do.
Brilliant companies, brilliant individuals, fun people, and the relationship we have, I think, is really unique that we create with some of these customers. And you can see that from the affiliates we put together. And I love the affiliation and stuff we do. I love putting customers together
Yep.
and watching them grow together, which then gives us growth as well. That's my utopia, you know that.
Yep.
And I'm really big at it. And I think the people we've got lined up and the people we're going to continue to get lined up, who also all work together and have those relationships because we've created them, should give us a really nice foundation for great minds to really explore that. Because, I know some of the people we've got coming on and we know them very well. We trust them and they trust us. And I think we're going to be able to get some tough conversations going and some really good questions. And I think they'll open up for us.
Yeah, I do. I think part of our DNA, to use your words, is how we develop our relationships with customers, with suppliers, with partners, affiliates, again, to use your word. And I think that piece of being honest and authentic, and I'll go back to what I said earlier about admitting when you don't know everything, is kind of a bit of a unique place to be at the moment. I think I sit on LinkedIn and I look at everybody who's achieving all these things that they're achieving, and you feel like I go back to what I said, you feel like you have to be perfect, you have to know everything. But in this world, it's about, supporting each other's growth by sharing information, sharing knowledge.
I think it's part of our DNA, to use DNA again, but I think it's part of our business. I think we've always done that. We've always made out that we're not the best at everything. We've always made out that we don't know everything, but we've always made out that we're willing to try and willing to fail. And that's really what I think is key and why we have this relationship with people. Because I think we're the business that our customers come to when they don't know how to do something.
Yeah.
Not because they think we know how to, but they know we'll try.
And we'll work it out together.
And we'll work it out, and we'll either be willing to try, but willing to fail. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But most of the time, we'll find the solution. And I think that's what keeps that innovation element going.
We're talking quite a lot about us as a business, but let's think about people who aren't quite as open to sharing information. Why do you think there are people or organizations who don't have the same philosophy as us? What do you think stops people from sharing knowledge and expertise and collaborating?
I think it's getting a lot better.
Okay.
Don't you? I mean, I think you'll find
in our communities, we're very lucky. We're in
maybe.
D-Scoop. We're really lucky. We surround ourselves with people who feel the same as us. But
maybe
I'm also aware of industries where it is a lot more
in
closed.
different industries. Yeah, I think so. In our industry, we talk about our industry. Yeah, there's still pockets that still keep closed because it's a traditional industry as well. And if you think of how much it's developed and how much the digital transformation has changed it, there's still a lot of that industry that's the same as it was 20, 30 years ago, right? And it's tough. It's a really tough industry. When things are tough, stress often pulls you inward, right? Stress and tough and challenge sends you looking inwards, and you think that actually I need to focus on what I'm doing, focus on this and not share and keep it tight to survive. Actually, I think it's the opposite, right? When things are tough, you look outwards and you start to share and you start to look at, it gives you the opportunity, but it's very hard to do in a tough industry. So I think there's that. One of the most interesting changes I've seen is in APJ in Asia Pacific market.
Yep.
That market is incredibly secretive.
Okay.
Like incredibly secretive. And when we tried to take D-Scoop to APJ many years ago now, it was literally like you were asking people to come and in a room, and they were in their little groups, and they would not talk and they would not come and they would not share. You now look at the summit that we just had in Bangkok in Thailand literally 2 weeks ago, 175 PSPs there, all sharing, doing workshops, really opening up. But that's been an incredibly hard market to break because it's so competitive. So, it's an education thing. I think people just need to be educated in it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a really specific question about your career and your journey. And you can ask the same question back if you want. Can you think of a time where taking this approach, a specific time where taking this approach of collaboration and sharing knowledge has helped you achieve something positive?
I can give you 1,000.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, genuinely, I'm not sure there's one that particularly stands out. But almost every opportunity, people say historically, I used to say I'm really lucky. Well, there's luck, and then you make your own luck,
Yep.
right? And I always talk about it as an opportunity, as a bird that never perches, right? And when that bird comes to land, if you want an opportunity, you grab it with both hands and fly with it, and it opens up the next opportunity. And I think what I've noticed throughout my entire career is my opportunities, my luck that's come about have opened up from somebody that I have helped,
Yep.
supported, shared, educated,
Yep.
trained, mentored, listened to, been mentored by. Almost every opportunity in the ladder that I've been through has
Yep.
come from somebody or some opportunity created by that approach to business. And that is why I maintain that it's very easy to make money doing it the wrong way. It's quite hard to make money and profitability doing it the right way and being
That's interesting.
having integrity and being authentic and being vulnerable and being open and sharing. But when you do, that's when it really becomes a proper
Something really
something
powerful.
really powerful and spectacular. I will ask the same question back to you.
Thank you. So I guess for me, more recently than
Okay.
anything. So I mentioned earlier, I've just become a lot more active in the D-Scoop community recently, and because of that, I have been introduced to a number of people who do similar roles to me, who I've shared, I've been open to share what we've been doing in Precision Proco. I did a little session at the D-Scoop Long Beach meet a few months ago. And by sharing what we did, I've welcomed, I guess, new relationships with a number of people from across the D-Scoop community who have now opened up to me to share what they're doing, to share best practice. Part of doing this today is because one of our contacts does something very similar over in the States.
Okay, no name needs to be
No
mentioned.
names
Yeah.
needed, but that individual has shared so much of what she learned going through the process of starting a podcast,
Right.
sharing information. And I've been able to learn from her, but not just learn from her, also, I guess, the support I'm given because I've been willing to share with her
She's
what
been
we're
vulnerable
doing.
first and given her that input. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I think that's helping me grow my confidence in terms of what I do, doing things like this, totally outside of my comfort zone.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm completely
Really? You're flabbergasted
completely fine by
that.
Mm.
Oh, I thought you meant that you were flabbergasted
No,
that I was
no,
out
I'm
my. Are
completely
you
fine.
out your comfort zone, John?
No,
No?
not at all. 100%. So that's quite interesting you say that because the other example, it's not for me, but it's
Okay.
a good example for businesses and why you should. So very recent, I'll try and say this without talking about specifics so that I don't
Yep.
draw. So very recently, one of our team members who would not normally be given the opportunity to be part of something like a user group, like an advisory council, was asked to go because I couldn't go
Okay.
and someone else couldn't go.
Yep.
So we asked this individual to go, who actually is probably the best person to go, but they didn't
Right.
necessarily want that person. They wanted me
Okay.
or whoever. So this person went to the advisory council with one of our partners,
Yep.
met the people, and it wasn't really seen as an important thing for them to do, but we pushed it
Yep.
and they went and they really enjoyed it. So we talked about it when they got back. For the person, individual, great growth.
Yep.
Loved it, felt it was really valuable, was so thankful to be allowed to go, got so much personally from it.
Yeah.
So it worked. 2 weeks later, huge problem with that said partner's technology,
Yes.
right? An issue, global issue,
Yep.
which caused an outage
Yep.
in the technology that we utilize, which meant we had serious production issues for 5 to 8 hours,
Yep.
which is a big thing for
For
us,
us,
as
yeah.
everyone knows. That person went straight to the WhatsApp group of the people they'd met at the
Okay.
advisory council, and the advisory council between them worked together to try and solve the problem to get us up and running quicker. And it was an asset immediately. There's a great example for the business benefiting from sharing.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm.
And that's just made me think about how your approach, our approach as a leadership team in terms of sharing, being open, educating others, how we can, I guess, bring more of that in the business, within the business. So
Yeah.
how
It's hard though, right? Because everyone's busy.
sure.
So we're running around, we have 2-hour SLAs, Everyone's running around like idiots. It's very hard to step back. I'm lucky. I'm privileged in the fact that I don't have to necessarily do day to day. I spend my time with either customers
Yep.
or the team.
Yes.
Right. And I love that. That's why I love what I do now, because I get to spend time with the customers or the people. That's it most of the time. And so I get to see that. And what I have to do more of,
Yeah.
and what we're working on with the new OLT, is get the OLT to understand the value of that more for them as well as we grow.
Yeah.
So I completely agree. It's how do we make sure that OLT just take that step back every day and realize what they need to do when they turn up and they're present with their team. How do they pass that information on? How do they make sure their team feel empowered to be able to share and learn and to grow as well?
And I think, internal comms, internally sharing information could be an entire podcast on its own. And maybe we'll take that as a subject matter to discuss on a different podcast. I feel very passionately about that. Okay. I think that kind of concludes our conversation about collaboration and knowledge share. For our first,
I have one question before you do as co-host. What are you trying to achieve out of these sessions? Specifically, what do you want to get out? What are you going to be really happy with?
What am I going to be really happy with?
Yeah.
I'm going to be really happy if I get feedback from our existing network or our wider network, hopefully new customers, new suppliers, new partners, if they see this and feel like they know us a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel like they're connected to us or engaged with us a little bit more.
Yeah.
Of course, there are a number of marketing metrics that we can look at when it comes to comms, when it comes to things like podcasts.
KPIs or SLAs.
But there's a huge part of this for me is about a feeling that I'm wanting to create. So I want to create a feeling that we are open, we are honest as a business, we are vulnerable as individuals, but also we are open to conversations.
Okay.
So by having conversations ourselves, maybe our audience will want to have conversations with us too.
Okay, good. Just so I can turn up as the right co-host and know what you're after. Because for me, I think we're going to cover some good topics.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to get into some pretty decent
Meaty topics, yeah.
Some of them we're not going to agree on. It's all nice and nicey today, but I know we're not going to agree
on a lot of things, John.
which is good. And we're going to have some decent debates, and we're going to discuss some tough subjects. I think for me it's not about SLAs, it's not about KPIs, it's not about metrics. Right, it's about actually being human and being normal and actually talking to people in the right way and understanding what people want from us and also get that from us. But for me, it's also about that one person, that one thing. So, if this goes out and one person looks at it and goes, actually, I'm going to go to these group, or I'm going to try and share that with my team, or I'm going to be really vulnerable, or I'm going to go and get help for this, or I'm going to, that each topic that comes up, if one person takes one thing from it, AI, new technology, then I think it's worth the effort. And also it's worth it just to spend half an hour talking to you, H.
Smooth. Very smooth.
So H, that's it. End of our first session. Happy?
I think so. I think that was a great conversation, John.
Thank you. Good. I think it was too. Do you want to say cheerio?
Thanks for listening in to our first of our new Great Minds Print Alike podcast. If there's any subjects that you'd like us to cover, any guests you'd like us to invite, please let us know.